Alright guys, your girl's back now. And I'm gonna try something a little different. I'm gonna try to vlog here while I'm outdoors because I'm telling you, it feels so great outside that I just don't want to miss out on this kind of weather. So anyways, so while I was driving, I completely sound like a fool because, I don't edit this. There's no way I can edit this. So anyways, I think it's hilarious and embarrassing. So someone was asking me to talk about zodiac and personality. So, well, for starters, my zodiac is Leo. I'm a Leo. My birthday is super early in August, August 2nd. And do I keep up with that stuff like astrology or just reading my zodiac? When I was younger, I used to because I thought it was kind of interesting. Like, I was curious to see how often they would be right. But then I saw the pattern. I'm like, on some days, you're not going to get me right. And on some days, you are going to get me right. And considering how young I was, the section where it discussed money, I knew that it was irrelevant for me. So that's when I knew that this was just another business type of thing, and you're going to come up with explanations that are as generic as possible so that you're not wrong. And that's really what turned me off about them, because, you know, come up with something generic so that you look like you're right, and that's the way you draw people, by making it seem like you actually know what you're saying, like you actually have an influence in someone's life and you're legitimately some kind of psychic or fortune teller or something, when really all you're doing is gathering the facts that most people tend to experience and just show them off and demonstrate them. So I never thought that the zodiac defined me in any way. Honestly, I don't even remember what the definitions for Leos are supposed to be, but I do remember that they say something about being confident, good lovers, and really powerful, like leadership traits. Again, that doesn't have to apply to you just because you're a Leo. I think anybody can land that, really. So to say that thanks to you being a Leo, you have a certain degree of success or certain abilities and knowledge is just nonsense for me. Everybody has the same potential to perform, manifest, and accomplish just about the same thing as anyone else. So don't ever let little things like a zodiac define who you are, because that's just BS. And then when it comes to my own personality, all that I have to say is that I am evolving, and I believe that every person will be evolving for the rest of their lives. And it's because you have different stages in life to just live through. You have your childhood, your adolescence, young adulthood. Then you also have this stuff that accompanies each stage, which the older you get, your responsibilities are going to increase. For instance, if you start building a family. So then you hit a middle age and then an older age, and you have to evolve. You have to keep evolving, because the stuff that works for you when you're young is not the stuff that's going to work for you when you get older. So if anyone ever asks me that, again, that's exactly what I'm going to say again and again, that I'm constantly evolving, and the stage that I'm in right now is just learning more about myself and what works for me and what doesn't, because this is early in my adulthood, so of course I don't have to have everything figured out. But my ideal personality is pretty much with me already. I believe that I've overcome the stuff that I felt was hindering me in life in general. For instance, my anxiety, I feel like I have it under control now. I haven't had any incidents or any episodes with it in 2 weeks, which it's been quite a while since I had that happen to me. Additionally, anything that would stress me out or should stress me out, I'm pretty chill about it. Like yesterday, I had an incredibly busy, mentally demanding, mentally just. I should have been depressed and just ready to quit on life after yesterday, but I didn't. I was just fine. I was taking care of everything, particularly at work. That's what I'm mostly referencing. So that lets me know that I'm doing very well. I'm just hanging in there like everybody else is, except that I always felt like I was the one falling behind on that department because I would let things get to me. Like I would get depressed, I would get anxious, I would feel down quickly. But now I feel like I am in control of that stuff. There was a time in which I would say, yeah, I have control over everything and my attitude and conduct and everything, but it would turn out that stuff would still affect me. I was still sensitive about some things. And now I can truly, truly say that I get up each morning and I have a plan, I have something to do, and I actually go about doing it as opposed to just being turned off by almost anything or everything. Like, it's pretty much the sun is starting to shine between the clouds. Like, my days felt like they were always cloudy, but now the sun's rays are actually being perceived. It's a weird way of putting it, but that's truly how I feel and the closest to accurately reporting what I'm trying to say is. So yeah, personality wise, I'm pretty happy with myself. I think that I'm fun to be around. I'm actually enjoying being by myself and not feeling empty like I always did. Like I value the times and moments that I have space for myself. I used to not be that way. I used to feel like I needed to be surrounded by those who I love to enjoy my day to the fullest. But I've learned to be independent in that department and just appreciate things that happen to me when I'm by myself and just value my own presence. Additionally, another thing that I wanted to quickly just brush over is my thoughts on religion and politics affecting relationships. All that I have to say on that department is people are always going to be different. Your opinions are always going to be different with everybody. They may be similar, but there's always going to be some kind of a difference. And just do what you can with it. Don't let that tear you apart, because I feel like those things become an issue because people let them become issues. Discuss anything if you're open to it, which I would encourage everybody to just discuss these types of things. Say if you're discussing this when you're in a relationship with like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, just say what you feel and let them know that you still like the person for who they are and what they are and not really their political views and religion, because I'm pretty sure that most relationships start before those things are even discussed. So if you were able to like this person before you knew about their position on some matters, why does that have to change? So it's okay to have different views on religion, but just respect the other person for it, and vice versa. They have to respect you for it. And same thing with what else was I talking about? Religion and politics. Ideally, your political views should be quite similar, because I don't see why you would want to be against something that's going to help you advance in society, like certain laws that you really want to vote for, so that your quality of life improves, you know? So I don't think that you should be that different when it comes to that point of view. Why is the brightness on this so weird? It doesn't adjust like my camera does. Probably because the sun started shining on it and I didn't catch it on time, but anyway. Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, we're gonna leave it like that. It doesn't really bother me. It makes my hair look gray, but anyway. I accept the fact that I'm aging as I speak. But yeah, guys, politics, religion, that should never be a reason why your relationship has a strain. It only should strain your relationship if you are actively trying to get the other person to think like you, and vice versa, if that person is trying to get you to think like them. So just respect everybody for who they are, for how they think, for their opinion. And if you think that this stuff is really going to get in the way of your relationship progressing, then just call it quits. You know, it's not hard. I guess breakups are difficult, but the earlier on you address that, the better off you'll be, and the quicker that you can move on and get over that stuff. But for me, I just never want to say I broke up with my boyfriend because of his religion, or he broke up with me because of my religion or lack thereof, or or politics got in the way of my relationship because whatever the reasons. Just don't let that happen to you. Because a lot of things, the stuff that you guys are arguing about is trivial, and you're making it a big deal because you're in the heat of the moment. So to me, that's just silly. And then finally, the other random thought that I remember having was the fact that I have lived through a new millennium. Like, I was born toward the end of not only a century but also a millennium. So I feel like only a few are lucky and privileged like that to live through such a time period. I wonder how the people in like the year 999 felt like when the new millennium was starting. And I also wonder how the people who are in my boat, which is the end of the first 1,000 years, how did everyone feel? For me, since it happened while I was super young, like I was in my childhood, I really wasn't thinking about it. I didn't give it much thought or meaning, consideration, anything. But now that I'm older, it's like, oh wow, new millennium, new century. So then again, it's hard to think about that because during that transition, not a whole lot of things change. Like, the sun still rises from the east and, sets on the west. So, and just because we turned into the early 2000s didn't mean that iPhones and everything just became available. Everything that takes its time to be ready still took its time to be ready. So, but it's cool to think about that. When this century ends, and it becomes 2100, it'll only be just a change in century, not a century and a millennium. So I feel like that on its own sets us apart, those of us to whom this applies. I know folks who were born in 2003, and I'm like, you're just born early in the century, but not really early in the century and early in the millennium, but you're not really transitioning. And the folks from 1999, 1998, 1997, I'm going to forgive the lives of those from 1996, but if you were 3 years old or younger, this does not apply to you. Like, you cannot relate to how we feel because I highly doubt that you have any memories of this change in the calendar and whatnot. So no, I don't want to hear it. I know that's kind of discriminating, but anyways, I felt like I would say that. Because my brother, he was born in 1989, but, you know, he is a 90s kid. Like, I'm like, you were born nearly halfway into 1989. You cannot call yourself an 80s kid when you did not feel the effects of being a kid in the 80s, So just shut your trap about it. So that's how I feel about these folks who were born toward the end of the millennium and century. Like 3 years of experience in the old millennium and old century. Like, no, you cannot opine in this because you don't know. Now, if you're 4 years old, I have memories from when I was 4 years old, so I can sort of tolerate you, but you're also borderline not cool enough to participate at this. So, well, you guys, I'm going to conclude this right here, for I really don't have anything else to say, and everyone else is absent. I'm sorry that I started this a little late. I think when I ended the stream, 2 people were on, or maybe 1 person was in and out. But anyways, I'll be back. I shall announce when the next day our stream will be. It will be this coming week, that's for sure, because I enjoy this a lot. And I just want to say to everyone that I am proud of you, because it seems like you have not avoided your Sunday duties, which I don't know what they are. I don't even know if that applies to any of you guys, but for me, clearly, I'm not in church or anything. So yeah. Congratulations to me for avoiding that social setting. Well, I don't want to say that's something that I'm proud of. It's just that it's hard for me to find a congregation where I feel like I can be myself and I'm really welcome, and their integrity is unquestionable. So I'm going to leave it at that. I guess that can be a topic for either another video or another stream. So, alright guys, as always, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Let's see. This is the awkward part, like canceling this, and then my button not working. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? And